Imagine a nation stirred to its core, where passionate protests erupt against leadership seen as veering dangerously toward authoritarianism. This is the backdrop for the upcoming No Kings demonstrations, set to take place across the United States, including the heart of the nation's capital on Saturday. The Republican Party, under the leadership of President Donald Trump, has branded these rallies as Hate America events, which sets the stage for heated debate. On June 14th, 2025, a significant gathering unfolded at the beautiful Ocean Beach along San Francisco's Pacific coastline, where multitudes rallied against the actions of ICE, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. This event highlighted the growing frustration over immigration enforcement during a time of increasing public dissent. As groups prepare to voice their concerns regarding the nation's leadership, they are united by a common purpose: to protest what they view as an alarming shift in the country's governance under President Trump. This is not just any protest. Organizers expect this gathering to become the largest mobilization yet since Trump reclaimed the presidency. They argue that it comes at a critical moment, amidst a government shutdown that has affected numerous federal programs and heightened tensions between the executive branch and Congress. Activists warn that these dynamics threaten to undermine the democratic foundations of the United States, paving the way toward a more authoritarian regime. Interestingly, Trump is not in the Capitol during these protests. He has chosen to remain at his Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida. In a recent interview with Fox News, he reacted to the claims of protesters labeling him as a king by insisting, "I'm not a king." His remarks were made shortly before attending a lavish fundraiser, where tickets reportedly cost $1 million each. This adds a layer of irony and controversy, as protests are set to unfold not far from his fundraising gala. Earlier protests this year, against figures like Elon Musk and in response to a military parade initiated by Trump, have gathered considerable energy. Still, organizers insist that this upcoming event signifies a crucial step toward forming a more unified opposition party movement. High-profile Democrats, including Senate leader Chuck Schumer and independent Senator Bernie Sanders, are aligning themselves with the protest initiative. They view this as a necessary counteraction to what they perceive as the Trump administration's threats to free speech and civil liberties. Ezra Levin, co-founder of Indivisible and an integral organizer of the event, stated emphatically, "There is no greater threat to an authoritarian regime than patriotic people power." This sentiment underscores the belief that collective action can push back against perceived authoritarian trends. While Republican leaders and the White House have dismissed the protests as gathering of radicals, Levin reports a swelling tide of support, with over 2,600 rallies planned in cities both large and small. He notes that these events are accessible to substantial portions of the American population. The GOP has been quick to characterize participants in the protests as extreme outliers in American political discourse, using the prolonged government shutdown, now in its 18th day, as a point of contention. From high-ranking officials in the White House to members of Congress, GOP leaders have employed severe rhetoric, labeling demonstrators as communists and Marxists. House Speaker Mike Johnson of Louisiana highlighted this perspective, suggesting that the upcoming rally exemplified this so-called hate America sentiment. He provocatively speculated on the type of individuals who might attend, including those who oppose capitalism. Currently, legislative efforts to resolve the government shutdown have stalled. Democrats continue to insist that they will not support bills to reopen the government without guarantees for healthcare funding. Meanwhile, Republicans have indicated a willingness to discuss these issues only after a government reopening is secured. For many Democrats, the shutdown represents not only a political strategy, but also a means of resisting Trump's expanding authority and ensuring the presidency remains balanced within the American system. In a striking announcement on social media, Senator Sanders characterized the upcoming rally as a celebration of patriotic values. He described it as a Love America rally, asserting that it unites millions of citizens who support the Constitution and cherish American freedoms. He firmly emphasized that they would not permit Trump and his administration to morph the United States into an authoritarian state. This recent surge of mobilization marks a dramatic shift from just 6 months prior, when Democrats were grappling with internal discord and uncertainty regarding how to respond effectively to Trump's return as a dominant political force. Following backlash for not leveraging previous funding bills to challenge Trump, Democratic leaders, particularly Schumer, appear to be rallying together. In April, a previous march saw participation in 1,300 locations. Then, in June, there were 2,100 registered protest sites. And as of now, it's projected that Saturday's event will host more than 2,600 locations nationwide. Levin remarked on the Democrats' newfound determination, stating, "The worst thing the Democrats could do right now is surrender." House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries expressed his ambivalence about attending, but stressed that the Republican narrative surrounding the protests is mischaracterized. He pointed to the 2021 Capitol attack as a true embodiment of hate and extremism, contrasting it with the forthcoming expression of patriotism at this weekend's events. What you'll see this weekend is what patriotism looks like. People showing up to express opposition to the extremism that Donald Trump has been unleashing on the American people. As the protests approach, the nation watches closely. Will this wave of activism succeed in reshaping the political landscape, or will it fizzle under the weight of partisan vitriol? What are your thoughts? Do you see these demonstrations as a necessary pushback against potential authoritarianism, or do you align with the Republican criticism of these events? Join the conversation.